On today's show, we have got the debut of the Worry-O-Meter. Hashtag Kyle Cliffy's brain. We got other notable highlights we need to get over. We got top tens. We've got updated records. We've got picks. Full show. Probably not an hour and 16 minutes like the last one. So you're welcome. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome to episode of Sitting Courtside Today. I messed it up today. That's my tag now. Tuesday, February 13th. It is Fat Tuesday, and we are going to get you all greased up for your college basketball. Welcome, all you casuals that are now officially out of the NFL. But before we start, for all the new people that have showed up, you may notice Kyle has got glasses on. He told us last week he had glasses and why he had them. If you've watched all the other shows, you know that this is not norm for Kyle.
No.
But if there is one thing you need to know about this show, it's that it is a brotherhood. Okay? We ride and die for our guys, vice versa. So I would be renounced of myself if I let this man go the entire podcast by himself with glasses. So without further ado, debuting Mingo glasses.
Nice.
All right. We're gonna rep the glasses. I will let everyone know. These are blue light glasses. I am not blind like Kyle.
I'm very blind. Very blind. But yes, if you want the whole story, go back to the last episode and we talked about it right off the top. So you already should have listened to it, but it was a whole fun story.
Sure, I done it.
All right. Like Jordan said, we're going to start off with a little bit different. It's not going to be a straight recap. We're going to go with, you called it Worry-O-Meter. I like to call it Worryometer. Either way.
Oh, okay. That works too.
Yeah.
Whatever. Worryometer, Worryometer. I like yours better, but mine sounds like I'm a dum-dum. That's cool.
So there are a few teams struggling in the top 25 that I wanted to highlight right off the top. So one on the Worryometer is you're not worried about them at all. 10 is you are incredibly worried about them and probably aren't going to be betting them too much the rest of the season.
I can do this.
All right, so we're going to start right off the top with Tennessee, blown out on Saturday by Texas A&M. They're just 2-2 in their last 4 games. What's your read on Tennessee? At one point, we both had them in our top 5 this season.
Yeah. I would say, generally speaking, we have been a don't count on Tennessee in the tournament. I'm like slightly above that take right now. I would say they will win their first round game convincingly, and they will make you sweat to death in the second round and maybe lose. Like that's where I'm at. So a scale 1 to 10, we're at like a 6.25.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go with the 4, a little less worried than you, but I don't like their chances of a deep run in March, but I'm not too worried about them for like in conference play right now.
Yeah.
I think they'll bounce back this week. So I'm not very worried about them, especially compared to the other teams that we have on this list. All right, let's move it on to Illinois, a team I have never bought into, but they've lost at Michigan State, and now we're just 3-5 against quad 1 teams. I'll go first on this one. I'll give it an 8 because I really don't like them in general, and so lost at Michigan State. I wasn't impressed by them. I just think they're an overrated team. They kind of moved up really high in their rankings because they've feasted on bad teams in the Big Ten. Yeah. So I'm going to put them at an 8. I do not like their look at moving forward.
I don't know how I feel about them. I feel like overall, I'm going to give this. I don't want to give away. Never mind. I was going to say there's their conference as a whole, maybe. But Illinois, let's go 9. I'm going to give it a solid 9. I'm kind of like that. Honestly, I don't think I would have talked about them once this year if you didn't bring them into the show, because like they're a nothing for me. Like they don't do anything exciting. They don't really pop off the screen at you. Like they're not a team that I've remotely considered that can make a Sweet 16.
Yeah. Ever since Shannon's gotten back, I just haven't seen like they just look kind of disjointed on offense because it's more of him just one-on-one the whole time. So
yeah. All right. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna move the light in front of me. It's gonna bug the hell out of me with these glasses.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next up we're gonna move on to Wisconsin, who they're definitely the team in the most worry right now for me because they've lost 4 in a row. I'm in a complete 10 with them. They've lost 3 of those 4 games on the road, and this is not in a good conference. We just talked about
Yeah.
how Illinois plays in a bad Big Ten. Wisconsin was supposed to be the second best team, like since they rose all the way up to the top 10. I am definitely worried about them right now because their offense is just kind of uglier right now, and you can't trust their defense.
Okay, so this is where we're gonna go with maybe real feel. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm actually like a 3. I'm not worried about them at all, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm not worried about them all. Because they're the team that we said they've been the entire time.
That's true.
I never bought into them being a good team. I don't even know if I had them in my top 20, my top 10 at all at any point this year. Like I've
Okay.
never been bought into them once. So like to say I'm like worried, I didn't ever think they were good. Like
Okay.
we've even I think we even joked maybe either last episode or 2 episodes ago about like, yeah, they're doing really well, but like they're a classic team that will lose to like an Indiana State in the first round
Yeah, we
because
did
like
say.
they just have no offense. So like to
Mhm.
say I'm worried, this is exactly what I expected out of them.
Okay. Yeah, see, I got him. I had him all the way up at number 6 on January 29th. So I bought in. I bought in fully at the end of January. All right, let's move it on to our next team on here. Kentucky. Obviously, I've been bought into them this season. I've really liked them at the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year. They now have 3 straight home losses, and they're just 2-4 in their last 6 games. Do you think Calipari bounces back here,
They're
or is this going to
they're
be
an
that?
11. They're an 11.
Okay.
I think I
Okay.
said last episode like they have to
Uh-huh.
show up against Texas A&M or Calipari is going to be on the hot
Uh-huh.
seat. Like
Yeah.
he's not on the hot seat. I don't know what they're doing in Kentucky. And yeah, everyone will say, "Well, who else are they going to hire?" Anyone else at this point. Anyone else. It clearly is not working. Just
Yeah.
like it's not working for Kyle Shanahan, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. There you go. I have them as a 10. It's ugly right now. They have 2 7-footers back, and it's not working. So
No.
what I was banking on was the big guys get back, and they'll be a better team. They've actually regressed since they've gotten healthier. So very worried about this team right
Yeah,
now.
well they had some injuries too against who'd they play? It wasn't Texas A&M, it was a game before that. Gonzaga.
Yeah,
They had some injuries
Gonzaga.
against Gonzaga as well. So it was like they got healthy, then they're not healthy. I don't know what to expect of this team anymore. They're not. If they make the tournament, I feel it's purely on name alone
Yeah,
because I don't think they're finishing any better than 5th in the SEC tournament.
yeah, definitely. All right, next team they've been on our radar all season. Florida Atlantic 1-1 last week, lost during the week, had to go into overtime to beat Wichita State. We kind of ignored this team for a little bit, but what's your
Yeah,
worryometer on FAU
I'll
here?
say 7.5,
7.5.
and that's because I was fully bought into them, especially after the big Arizona win, which to this day I still think is probably the game of the year.
Yeah, definitely
Like
agree.
even though those two teams aren't necessarily like what we thought they were,
Hmm.
but you got to be super worried. They base are in a position now. If you read any big time media person or any medium sized blogger that just loves basketball, like everyone has no AQs for that conference. They're not
Hmm.
even leading their conference at this point.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
have to be concerned if you're an FAU person because they might not find themselves in the field of 68.
Yep. Hey, I got them at an 8 here. I'm very worried about it, and you kind of like stole there at the end what I was going to say because I'm worried about what their seed's going to be. If they get in now, they're probably looking at no higher than like a 6 because of their bad conference. And right, if they have a bad week, they're going to just keep tumbling it down to where it's going to be impossible to make a deep run
Yes.
at like a higher seed.
I will say this. I'm sure we don't have anywhere on the slate. The next 2 weeks is going to be massive
Mm,
for 5 to 7 seeds.
yeah, it's a good
Like
call.
if you're not watching basketball in the next 2 weeks, good luck figuring out who's winning games that are seeded 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, it's a good call. Very good call. All right, last team that I have on our worryometer is New Mexico. We bought in on this team, and now they have they're doing us dirty here. They were just 1-2 in their last 3, lost at home this weekend to UNLV, who's not going to sniff the tournament. New
Yeah.
Mexico, what's your worryometer here?
At home too is just as
Yeah,
ridiculous by like I think double digits.
yeah.
I'm officially tagging that as another successful courtside curse. I think that's the 7th team probably this year that we've cursed after we're like they're good, we like them.
Oh.
Um, worryometer, worrometer, potato, penguin. I'll give it just a 5. I'll put them right in the middle. I still think they're a quality team. I think everyone's allowed one weird loss. They've not really had any bad losses, so we'll count this as their weird loss. As long as they don't continue to stumble down the end, which they're going to play. I mean, they're playing in a good conference, so who knows what happens. But you got to win at home. I think if they lost it on the road, it wouldn't be as big a deal. But at
Yeah,
home,
definitely.
that was weird. That
Yep.
was a weird thing to happen.
Yep. I'll agree with you there. I'll go with the 5 on them. It's more I already had like reasonable expectations for them. I wasn't all the way in on them when
Yeah.
they got good, and I didn't wasn't on them at all at the beginning of the season. So it's more of maybe they are just bouncing out right now. But I'm not too worried about them. They'll have plenty of chances to pick up more quad one wins in that conference too. So
Yeah, and I mean, if you're trying to be right too, neither of us have them picked to win the conference in the first place.
yep,
So
yep. All right. Well, that's all for the worryometer. I thought it was pretty successful. So different little way to start the show, but we did have other weekend games that didn't really qualify as like huge upsets or teams that are kind of not playing real well right now. But Friday night, number 18, Dayton loses one of the ugliest basketball games I've watched, 49-47 to VCU. Both teams shot under 40% from the field, 23% from three, and 50% from the free throw line. It was ugly.
if you didn't hammer the under on that, you're not paying attention to any of my picks. I'm just saying that now. I called that out so quick.
And you had
That
that.
like honestly, I'll tell you now. I know VCU is significantly better
Mhm.
at offense than they have been historically, but all I think about is VCU at home chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
Games will never be over like 130 points there. I'm convinced they could score 100 points a game, and I will still convince myself the game will never go over 130.
Yeah, that one, that for a Friday night like game where you probably have a lot of other better things to do, to like make it a priority to watch that for 2 hours is pretty rough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
You're right. Also, Dayton, kudos to you. I also just keep remembering the stat you put out about Dayton, where they're like 227th in pace of play. You just
Yeah.
remember that in your brain, like you know that they're going under.
Yeah. All right. We didn't talk about this the last two times these two
Yep.
teams played. So we at least got to get a real quick recap in here for this. Purdue absolutely crushes
I
IU
mean,
Saturday night, 79-59. They got revenge for last year beating IU both times this season. The real question is that will Woodson get a third year, or are they going to move on from him this offseason?
okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go from the IU point of view. I think we've done a good job of this. Where like I tend to have the Indiana point of view, and you have the Purdue point of view.
Mm,
And it also is fitting because that's also where we live historically from the state. I live like 40 minutes from Bloomington. You live like what 40 minutes from Lafayette.
nope.
On our wives, obviously alumni or not alumni both, but fans of both.
Yep.
Um, as a casual, don't care. How Woodson has a job at this point is
Yeah.
baffling. Like I'm convinced he only has it because he's like best friends with the AD and he is an Indiana legend.
Yeah.
And by legend, I mean he played for Bobby Knight, so therefore you have to be a legend. He did play on the perfect team also. Not a significant piece. Sidebar there. As listening to other Indiana fans, I've been listening to that for 2 years now. His lack of fire is astounding.
It really is.
Like everyone is fed up with him. They want him gone. He never gets emotional about anything. There were, again, I could care less. On 3 straight possessions, there were blatant, and I mean like textbook, you should watch a video of this, and that is how you teach refs how to call this, moving screens by Edie. I don't think they understand that you can't shuffle your feet and or stick your hip out when you're trying to set a pick, especially when you're 27 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
There were a number of times that he should have lost his mind or at least been in a ref's ear. I never seen him leave his chair. He needs to be gone. He's not into it at all. He's just there, I think, to like maybe rep the brand. I don't know. It was disgusting display. The only crumb, and I mean crumb of significance, is that they did hold Purdue under 80 points.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, they've looked absolutely terrible against Purdue for all but like 10 minutes so far in these 2 games this season. It's not been very encouraging, and I know the couple chats that I'm in that has IU fans, they want them gone. They're already looking around at who they can get next. So
There's so many coaches out there. But I think on the flip side, we talked about the Purdue side then. Do you think now that Purdue has cemented themselves as not Final Four, not championship game, but title or bust?
yeah, definitely. They have to. Like this is it. That's like I feel like that is the expectation now, even for Purdue fans who try to make it expectations as low as they can possibly get them at some points. So
Yeah.
I think it should definitely be it.
Also, again, Indiana guy here, watching plenty of high school basketball this year. If anyone, and I mean anyone, thinks that Purdue is going away after Edie graduates and is gone next year, think again. All that's going to change is instead of having this massive big man in the middle that gets all the rebounds, they're going to have a slew of white dudes that can shoot threes. A slew. Okay. Smith is already probably a top 7 shooter in the country.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have a freshman coming in that is 6'6", that is currently shooting 57% from three. And when I say three, I watch plenty of his games. There's a number of them that are 30 feet and deeper. Okay.
Nice.
They have the athletic freak. I think Edwards is his last name. He currently is playing in a freaking like G League for high schoolers.
Okay.
He's the number 1 recruit technically in Indiana because he did play in Indiana last year as a junior. They're going to be freakish on all levels next year, and surprisingly at guard play where they've struggled most of the time. Purdue will be reloaded again, and Indiana will again have a abysmal recruiting effort with no offense and guys that are scared to move. So.
Yeah. And you brought up Braden Smith. I think it is incredible how far he's come this season. Last year he was a liability in most big games. This year he's a top point guard like one of the top point guards in the nation.
Yes.
He's only a sophomore, and he's staying there all 4 or 5,
100%.
however many years
he has zero chance of playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
0% chance. Like he doesn't have the body size. He's not tall enough. He's a tremendous shooter, but if it were still like the years of Kyle Korver, maybe. But like everyone could shoot threes now. I will say again, basketball podcast here. I actually think the difference for him is he's gotten so much smarter at like his basketball knowledge. Like he understands when to make the right pass, what the right play is going to be. Like last year, I felt like he just like the speed of the game was too fast for him or something. Like the moment was too big. I don't know what it was, but he looks calm at all moments and understands what's happening now.
Yep, I completely agree. All right, moving on to what I thought was the biggest bubble game of the weekend, Washington State versus Oregon. Washington State actually gets a road win at 62-56. And we mentioned the pace of play for Dayton. Washington State is the exact same way. They rank outside the top 300 in tempo, and watching this game, it was like, whew, this is a slow, boring team to watch.
I actually think Washington State's a lot better than people think they are.
I do too.
Like I think they're legitimately, they have a shot of making a run. Again, I say this, but it's really for any team at all. It will be matchup based. Like they probably can't play Kentucky. I know I just said Kentucky is not good, but like Kentucky runs up and down enough as an athletic enough that I think they could put pressure on a team like Washington State. But like if they get the right matchups, they can make a run. They're not going to Final Four probably, but I think they're a really good team. And winning at that disgusting court in Oregon, I think proves that as well, because Oregon's no slouch.
No,
so yeah, Washington State should be in. Go Wazoo.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we had Kansas to get a huge home win, 64-61 over Baylor. This moves them to 13-0 at home this season. However, as we record this, they are currently playing against Texas Tech, and they're without McCullough tonight. So
I think that's a trap game. I think that's a trap game. They did exactly what they did last week, but oppo. So last week it was Kansas plays Houston, then they go on the road to play Kansas State, and they're favored by 4.5. This week it was at home against a big opponent in Baylor, and then you go on the road and you're a dog by 4.5. I think they're trying to get the trap where people take Texas Tech. I don't like it. I'm a big guns up guy, but I don't like the line. It feels like they're trying to make me take the cheese and take Texas Tech.
Well, right now, Texas Tech is currently up 14 as through for this podcast.
Let's hope.
So
let's keep it up. Guns up.
And then the only other game I had to review, huge home win for Florida. I think this kind of puts them away from the bubble for a little bit. Like, have a couple good weeks, you should be firmly in. 81-65 over Auburn. Auburn, man, when they lose bad. Like, they do not keep the game close when they lose.
Yeah, I actually looked back through it. I think they won the 2 previous games by 20 points.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But on the Florida point, I know I feel like I'm talking a lot now. As long as they win the games they're supposed to win, and they can still lose games against ranked teams, they're firmly in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And I want them to be in the tournament too, because I think they're a pretty fun team to watch.
Yes.
Team too.
Yes.
Any other games you wanted to highlight from the weekend?
I think you got them all, sir.
All right, let's move on to our top 10. I know we did it at the end of last week, so not a lot changed. I actually only had one team lose in my entire top 10 this weekend, so I'll just quickly run through mine. 1 and 2, Purdue, UConn, no change there. Houston's number 3, Marquette 4, Arizona now up to number 5. I have Kansas at 6 until the end of this Texas Tech game. Indiana State up to 7th now. UNC, Tennessee, Duke round out the top 10.
Yep. I did a lot of shuffling. I think I had like a moment of reflection, and I had to go back to, okay, neutral site, who do I trust? Because I did change a couple of things 3 or 4 times before I finally settled. But some of them, for the most part, the same teams you just referenced. 1 UConn, 2 Purdue, Houston 3. I have Indiana State up to 4.
Okay.
Like, I actually do, and you can say, oh, it's the podcast team. No, I actually do think on a neutral court, they can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah,
When you're shooting 43.2% from 3 as a team, you can beat anybody in the country. Okay.
And you said neutral court. They've literally played 4 neutral court games. They've won every single one of them.
Exactly. I truly do think that. A new team that I have kind of been out on, but I've been slowly betting them here and there, and they've been showing up. Marquette. Another huge win for me over the weekend. I had a -7. They showed up. They won a big game. I do have Marquette at 5 after being unranked for the last 4 weeks.
Okay.
Iowa State at 6, North Carolina at 7, South Carolina at 8, 9, Tennessee, and Arizona at 10. That was probably the toughest spot for me, was the 9-10. I was between Tennessee, Arizona, and Duke.
Okay. I like it. So I think our big differences is you have South Carolina in the top 10, and I think that might be the only difference. Like, I have Duke and you have South Carolina. I think that's it.
So close. Oh, Kansas too. I
Right.
don't do Kansas. You always throw.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right, what's your updated record as of Monday?
You know what? I just flamed it away. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. 821 picks, 427, 380, and Kyle, this is my favorite one of the day. 14 pushes. I got 4 more over the weekend.
That's crazy.
53% though. It didn't change. I'm still 53%.
Nice. I'm 283, 220, and 1, 56.25%. Had a really nice ending to Saturday. I won my last 8 bets because it was trending as like a terrible college basketball day, but then the nighttime last 8 all hit. So that was a pretty nice way to go into Super Bowl.
I will say this: I should have taken the Kyle advice that Kyle has given out many a time here. I pondered Houston -5 for no less than 10 minutes. I went back and forth on buying the half point. And like I clicked it, and I'd be like, okay, and I go look more picks. I'm like, like if they can't win by 5, like do I really deserve to win? I go back to 5, and then back and forth. Finally, I settled on 5. Got a push out of it, which again, just buy the half point.
Buy it.
The half point.
Gotta buy it, Jordan. You'll regret it a lot less times. It'll work in your favor more than it won't work in your favor. So. At least that's my advice. I have no stats that'll back it up other than I'm hitting it 56% this year. So
only stat you need.
Yeah. All right, let's go into our picks. So this will be a much shorter episode than the last couple that reached over an hour. Tuesday, number 4 Marquette at Butler. Huge game here. Butler is one of the last 4 buys as of Monday's bracketology on ESPN. 10-2 at home is Butler, but they're just 3-7 against quad 1 teams, which obviously Marquette is. Marquette really hot right now, 7-game win streak both in our top 5s. Butler, huge. Could be huge for the tournament chances. Do you like them to win this game, or you think Marquette stays hot?
So I'm taking Marquette, and if I remember correctly, I'm double checking so I don't lie to you people. I'm pretty sure that is Marquette's last loss was to Butler.
Okay.
It was at home. Last time they lost was at home to Butler, 69-62 on January 10th. Marquette is coming for revenge. I will take them in any number they put out.
Okay, I just found a number 2. It's Marquette -4 right now.
Oh, that's just hammer play. Come on.
Yeah, I haven't been able to watch too many Marquette games recently, even when they have been on this hot streak, because they haven't been like a marquee Saturday game. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and watching this one because Butler making a late push here to get in the tournament. Marquette, one of the hottest teams in the nation, will be a nice balance to see moving forward what we do with these 2 teams.
Yeah.
So I'll lay Marquette -4. I don't know if I said that, but anyway. Also Tuesday night, number 25 Oklahoma at number 12 Baylor. Baylor 11-1 at home, coming off a loss. Do you give the Sooners any chance here, or are you going to take Baylor at home?
Give them a 0% chance of winning this game. A 0% chance.
It looks like we got a 6.5-point line.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm gonna buy it up to whatever number I can get it at. They're gonna blow this team out of the water.
Yeah.
Oklahoma stinks. They're not good. They have no offense to stand for. Baylor does nothing but shoot, 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 shoot. I'll take Baylor by 100.
I am completely on the same side as you. Baylor going to absolutely murder Oklahoma. I'm not buying Oklahoma. I didn't put them
No.
on our worryometer list because I think we've done enough talking about them already.
Yes.
So I will take Baylor and minus the points as well.
They're a team I would love to not make the tournament.
Yes.
I have no. You know what? I'm gonna now put them firmly in the bucket of teams that like anytime they're on the TV, I just don't care to watch.
Yeah.
They could be playing Kansas, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, they're going to get like a 7 through 10 seed, and it's going to be one of those 8-9s or 7-10 games where you're like, I don't know who to pick, just whoever. And they're not going to go past the first round or second round anyway. So
You said that I just had like a lightning bolt. If they play in a 7-10 game, I'm now taking Oklahoma. Put it on the record.
okay,
Because that's
okay.
a classic game that we both say they lose every time. We'll make 19 brackets and they lose every single time, and they'll win that game and ruin it. I'm just
You're
now,
so right.
if they're in a 7-10 game, I'm taking Oklahoma blindly. I don't care who they play.
That is so true. Like I'll just automatically put them
Like you just
whoever
hate
they're
them so
playing.
much.
Yeah.
You hate them so much.
All right, let's move it to the Mountain West. Late Tuesday night, Colorado State at San Diego State. San Diego State undefeated at home. Colorado State currently on a 4-game win streak. Let me pull up this spread, see what we have it. Neither team is ranked, so I have to get off the top 25.
Come on, Kyle.
Yeah, it is San Diego State minus 5.5. Wow.
Oh, sheesh.
I think I'm going to go with, I know San Diego State really good at home, but I think Colorado State's the better team, or at least playing better right now. So I'll take Colorado State plus the points down. I'm going to buy that up to 6. So honestly, I think you might be able to get it to 6 by Tuesday night, but I'm going to go ahead and take Colorado State, even though it's on the road.
You said this is Tuesday night.
Yes, it is Tuesday night.
Okay, I got it. I'm taking over 139.
Okay.
I don't like that number at all. San Diego State's going to win this game at home
Mm-hmm.
because you do what Kyle says. When in doubt, take the home team in the
Yeah.
Mountain West. But that line is gross.
Yeah.
It's a gross line. Yeah, I'll take 139, and I actually just saw it go up to 139.5. So just do it now.
Okay, perfect.
I say do it now, as in like it's 8 o'clock on a Friday, and the line's probably like 140.5 now. But
yeah.
take it.
These two teams did play once this season. It's obviously at Colorado State, 79-71 win for Colorado State. So
Okay.
all right, Wednesday night. I got a real nice matchup here. I'm looking forward to this one. Number 11, South Carolina at number 13, Auburn. Yes, that is number 11, South Carolina. They have just flown up the rankings in the last few weeks. Auburn undefeated at home this season. The Gamecocks, though, on a 7-game win streak. We obviously do not have a line for Wednesday's games. So let me see if I can see what Ken Palm's suggesting it should be. This is also Valentine's Day night, so good luck, men, if you actually get to watch this game. You have probably other priorities you have to.
Or you be smart and you pick a spot that has a television. No, honey, I don't want to come here because it's a sports bar. I want to come here because I want to show you how much I love you.
Yes, exactly. And I can't find a line, so give some analysis on this and I'll figure it out.
Okay, Auburn, the Pearl Boat. I think they're a different team at home than they are on the road. I think they've proven that pretty regularly. South Carolina, this is probably their first like real test. I know they beat what I don't think, did they beat Tennessee or was it Kentucky? I can't remember 2 weeks ago.
I think they beat Tennessee.
Okay. Besides Tennessee, then
Mm.
I'm taking Auburn. I think it will be a close game. I really do. Auburn obviously coming off of like their loss, so like they have a little bit momentum now. It's probably bad for South Carolina that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And South Carolina, they cannot actually run the table in the SEC.
Yeah, that would be
like if they win this game, people are going to be losing their mind.
They really will be
in Gamecock Nation.
Yeah,
like it'd be wild. So I'll take Auburn. It will be a fun game though. I think it'll be a close game, and I do think we'll be able to tell what both these teams are.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing, but man, I usually can guess when Ken Palm is going to favor a team pretty heavily, even though they're close in the rankings. This one's not close. They have Auburn winning by 10 in this matchup, so we could be getting close to double-digit points in this one.
Okay.
And I think I'd have to go. I know we just said Auburn doesn't really play close games, so if they win, they blow them out. If they lose, get blown out. But
so just take the over.
Yeah, I don't
Did I
mind
steal
that.
your
I don't mind
thunder?
that.
I think I stole your
No,
thunder.
you're good.
Okay. Well, no, if you look though, they're kind of like freaking Alabama the other day. You text me, you're like, literally LSU scored 92 points against Alabama,
Yeah,
lost. Like that's
they
Auburn,
lost by
kind of.
17. Yep.
Like Auburn will win this game like 96-83
Yeah,
and nail the over by 100 points.
I like that. I think I'm going to go that way because I do think Auburn will win. Scared about taking South Carolina plus the 10 points. They lose by 12 when the game was close all game long. So yeah, I like the over in that one as well. All right, last game on the slate. We go from a couple top 15 teams to two bubble teams. Xavier at Seton Hall. Xavier currently on the next four out. Seton Hall last four in, according to Joe Lenardi. Xavier, a great defensive team. Seton Hall is actually, I think they rank behind. Yeah, they rank 17 spots behind Xavier in efficiency, according to KenPom. This one looks like it's going to be a pick 'em. They have Xavier currently a 1 point favorite on KenPom. Do you like the home team here, or are you going to go with a big road win for Xavier?
Taking under Xavier by 1 exactly. I thought about it before you told me.
Okay, perfect. I'm actually going to go with Seton Hall here at home just because I think it's a desperation home game. I just don't see the talent there for Xavier. They're a very well coached team. Uh, he's doing a lot for a team that lost their two best players before the season. So
Yeah.
I'm impressed at what's been going on there, Xavier. But I'll take the home team, Seton Hall. All right. Any other games you wanted to highlight? Or are we going to wrap this bad boy up?
Think we're good, buddy. Let's wrap it up. Let's send her home.
All right. Well, go follow us on Twitter. He's at Mingo Made One. I'm at Kyle Cliffy. We'll be giving you tons of picks this week. Another podcast later in the week highlighting the huge games. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys.